So I have some very unfortunate news here. Senator Bernie Sanders has ended his bid to win the 2020 Democratic presidential race. The decision makes former Vice President Joe Biden the presumptive Democratic nominee to challenge President Donald Trump in the November election. So, the Democrats made a huge mistake in 2016 by choosing Hillary frickin' Clinton, to go up against Donald Trump. And they lost. And the Democrats, as far as I'm concerned, are setting themselves up for failure again. They've been pressuring Bernie Sanders to drop out of this race for so long. And unfortunately, they got their wish. Bernie Sanders, who's for the people, and who, in my opinion, would be one of the best presidents the U.S. could ever have, has unfortunately bowed to pressure and dropped out of the race. So now it's a race between Joe frickin' Biden and Donald frickin' Trump, neither of whom are competent candidates. Donald Trump has just completely effed up the USA and tried his best to F up the world over the last 4 years. And he's probably going to get to do it again come this November for the next 4 years. Joe Biden can't even string together a frickin' sentence. Like, there's no doubt. I have no doubt in my mind that Joe Biden has dementia. His cognitive abilities are very severely compromised. Like, I think he has dementia or some other kind of brain robbing disorder. I've never liked Joe Biden, to tell you the truth. He strikes me as being like that creepy old uncle. Like, if you watch these videos, if you check videos of him on YouTube, like borderline molesting young girls when he goes to hug them. Like hugging up on these young girls, holding on to them, playing with their hair, whispering sweet nothings in their ears and all that. And I even heard this one clip, I can't think of the clip right now, but I heard this one clip where Joe Biden loves when little kids jump on his lap or something along those lines. And not to mention Joe Biden is, he's an accused sex offender. There's at least one woman that has accused him of sexual assault. I believe he's also been accused of sexual harassment. So I guess that will give him something in common with Donald Trump. Because Donald Trump, I think he's been accused of sexual assault and sexual harassment by at least 13 women, if I'm not mistaken. So you're going to put these two accused perverts to run against each other. Well, this coming November, I don't think the U.S. election is going to be voting for the best candidate or the person that you think is best suited to that job. I think it's going to come down to voting for the person that you hate the least. I'd have a very, very hard time. I would have to vote for Joe Biden. I'd have to hold my nose and vote for Joe Biden because I hate Donald Trump more than I hate Joe Biden, but it's not because I like Joe Biden I'd be voting for him, that's for sure. All I can say is I hope we haven't heard the last of Bernie Sanders. I hope Bernie Sanders maybe runs as an independent or starts up his own party or something. I hope we haven't heard the last of Bernie Sanders. Some people say that he's the president that the U.S. doesn't deserve. Maybe those people are right. But I don't know, I kind of beg to differ with that, because while there's a lot of people in the US that don't like Bernie Sanders, there's a huge groundswell of support for Bernie Sanders. I'm impressed by how many young people absolutely love Bernie Sanders and treat him like a rock star because they know he's the best possible candidate to be next president of the United States of America. He wants taxpayer-funded health care, which pretty much every other country in the first world, or if you prefer the industrialized world, has taxpayer-funded health care. Canada, where I live, has taxpayer-funded health care. The UK, France, Germany, Sweden, Norway, Finland, Denmark, Switzerland, Belgium, Australia, New Zealand, Japan, South Korea, Singapore. Pretty much every, and I'm probably missing some countries from that list as well too, like Austria, Holland. Like I'm probably missing some countries, but pretty much every country in the first world has taxpayer-funded health care except for the US. The US probably has the most expensive post-secondary education. In other words, the most expensive college and universities in the industrialized world. Post-secondary education is expensive in Canada as well too, but at least it's taxpayer funded so that it's not as expensive. Like from what I hear, these are just estimated numbers, but I'm hearing it will cost anywhere, depending on which part of Canada you go to school in, post-secondary education will cost anywhere from say $2,000 to about $8,000 a year in Canada. Whereas in the US, post-secondary education can easily cost you upwards of 30 grand a year. Well, I feel sorry for the American people that have to choose between two idiots, Joe Biden and Donald Trump. That's really unfortunate. It would be nice if Bernie Sanders has a plan up his sleeve to continue running to become the next president of the US, but I'm guessing he doesn't. It's just too bad. Bernie Sanders is the president that the US needs, and that would also do a lot of good for the rest of the world as well too. Yep, it's too bad Bernie Sanders has dropped out of the race.